welcome in, everybody, wherever you are, however you may be listening. This is your Wednesday wrap-up. Of course, we got Herb in the house. What's up, brother?
Can we pause for a second? I need to handle some important stuff. Let me text Raj. The show has started.
Yes.
All right, man. It's officially a show now. We're good. We are good to go, man. How are you?
Is it really this show if he's not late?
True. I might be a little disappointed if he showed up. I might text him and go, "Hey, are you okay?"
You don't even have to ask. You know he's not. If he's on time, something happened.
Something's happened. Yes. Something's wrong with the job. Please don't tell me you got fired.
Right. Oh man. So what have you been up to this week?
Surprisingly enough, had a Vanderbilt guy on the show last night.
Okay.
But it was, the show I never thought we'd have to schedule, but due to us losing last year and the trash talk in the offseason, had him on there. Man, it was a great show. It was a lot of fun. So, Jay Baker, I'm sad. The Birmingham Stallions are no more.
Yeah, what is that? That's a surprise to me.
Yeah.
I
missed all the games this past year. Yeah.
The locations don't, but some of the teams moving made sense.
Right. They already did a dive in the article that showed where some of the teams are going, and this is a team that hasn't shown growth in years anyway. And I was like, okay, well, I don't know. It feels like this league is already on life support if we're shuffling around this much, and they're doing some of the stuff we said, moving into Florida, but I'm not traveling for these games. I barely went when they were here. So, you're just going to miss out on certain things. But at least this team had a winning tradition. If you can't keep a team with a winning tradition, I don't know what you're doing with the rest of them. So,
yeah, well, that's the thing, right? They're coming to Birmingham. So Birmingham leaving was a surprise. Heading to Orlando, okay. Louisville, Columbus, interesting. Boise.
that one I thought I was reading a mistake.
What? If you were coming to the West Coast anyway, why wouldn't you come back to Seattle where you already have a following?
Right.
I don't get that move. So you're going to go to a location, which, don't get me wrong, it'll probably work in Boise. I mean, when you look at Boise State football, they pack that stadium out. So, they probably get some crossover there. It's not like there's a lot of other sports happening in Idaho. But
are you saying Idaho's boring? Is that where this is going?
I've driven through there quite a few times. So, not to put too fine a point on it, but yes. It's pretty, but there's not a whole lot going on.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that one was interesting. If you're Birmingham and I know this is putting too simple a point out, but if you're Birmingham and you lost your team to Idaho, you're like, we lose one championship or we don't get to one championship, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, you failed at your post. We're sending you to Siberia. I feel like that's what happened.
That is the ultimate what have you done for me lately? Yes. You're like, oh, you won 2 championships in a row and you lost this one, so bye.
Yes. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Going to Orlando, I could get with that. That makes sense. And it depends on which teams are moving where, right?
Right.
But yeah, no, it's just weird. But some of these, if they're not moving a crazy amount, maybe, but it's based on what they're doing. It's probably teams that are going to move as far away from where they currently are as possible.
That's what I would think. And again, but there is no travel in this. I'm not
No,
the Stallions are gone. You know what I mean? So there's no way I'm following. At least if you go to certain cities, you have, people might travel to Orlando for other stuff and take in, UFL games. So you might at least have that. Nobody's traveling to Boise for something else. So you're basically saying we need this whole town to support this game. That's it.
The whole town. Boise's not quite that small, but
look, in my mind, as an uneducated Southerner, like Boise's like 50 people. So I don't know.
That's hilarious.
I apologize to any people from Boise that I may have offended. Don't let my ignorance deter.
They just got cars last year. I got you. All right.
Yeah, some people still show up in the horse and buggy. This is what I'm envisioning. That's what I'm just saying.
That is hilarious. But yeah, no, that was it was funny because I got a text about those moves last night. As soon as those cities dropped, I'm sitting at the basketball game trying to do stuff, and my phone just starts lighting up. I'm like, what is going on? They're like, UFL massive shift, and I'm looking, and I'm like, I guess if they're just trying to kill any momentum they had, and it's weird that they're doing stuff like this when you think of the marketing power of The Rock and Fox.
Right.
How are you fumbling the bag this bad?
Yeah.
When you have, arguably one of the largest sports networks or just TV networks in general, and The Rock, who has based his entire career on marketing, right? That's WWE in general, self-promotion. So it just, Fox doesn't have a fastball. They don't have a changeup or a curveball or anything at the moment. Like that, this is just, it's a weird stance to take, because if you were worried about like the logistics of the sport, moving teams further away isn't going to help you out, right? That just makes the sport more expensive. Plus, you're looking at the fact that you have one team out west, which means they got to travel a lot to play every game. So what they're not going to be is good. Yeah.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. I remember we talked about this before this started, and some of the play, they put a whole lot of money. At some point, they're just going to have two leagues. One's going to be based in Florida. One's going to be based in Texas. And they're just going to end up with all their teams there if they stick around. And that's what they'll do.
Everybody. They just got rid of them being a regional sport, right? Because they had already condensed it, so it was.
Right.
Which, in a lot of ways, you looked at it and you're like, okay, well, that's just bad marketing in general, because you just alienated huge markets, right?
Right.
But then at the same time, you're like, okay, but logistically, there's not a lot of travel here, at least not far travel. A bunch of these can be on like a charter bus instead of an airplane. So, some of those, you're just like, okay, I kind of get it. You're trying to save money as far as like moving these teams around and whatever. So now you're not expanding. You're pulling out of cities that actually supported your team, and you're moving them to cities that didn't have one before. Again, if you were moving back to cities that had good followings, and I only bring up Seattle because they routinely had, 15,000+ people at these games. It was a perennial playoff team. Like, that would have been a good city to move back to. But you're going to go to Boise, and, not to, have any negative connotation towards Boise, but if you're trying to keep your sport growing, you probably want to hit markets that do have a lot more people.
Yeah. Yeah. Can I also say this? Football in Kentucky hasn't worked out either. So as much as I'm bagging on Boise, I'm going to throw Kentucky in there too. But no, your point is excellent. It doesn't make sense. Like, I don't know, like you said, Seattle would be the built-in one easily, to get back out there, and they would support it. Boise, I don't know. That's just so out of left field. I don't even know what to say without insulting Boise more. So I'm just going to say I love the blue turf. I hope they play every game there. I would love to get there to see a game or something, but other than that, man, it's ugh. I really wish I'd taken more time to look at more numbers on it too, to see, because there's like you're reading posts and people like, oh, TV, Birmingham, one of the best TV markets, but it did have one of the worst, attendance figures. So, man, I love the blue turf. I'd like to go see one game there at least.
Right,
once.
it's unique.
So,
it's unique. I'm not mad at it. And what it's who has the red one? Who has the red field?
Oh God.
I forget who that is offhand. It's always interesting when there's a different colored field. In arena, I think it's in the IFL. Eastern Washington. There we go. I knew it was here. I just couldn't remember which school it was. But yeah, that's right. It's the Eastern Washington Eagles. It just like there's I think it's in the IFL. Maybe it's the AAL. They got a black field, and that's a trip to try and watch. Plus, if you were wearing black jerseys,
you said Drake Field, SUNY Morrisville Mustangs.
They may have a red one also.
Yeah. No, I'm saying black. That's what I'm looking up.
Black.
There's a list of alternating with some here. Oh yeah, it's definitely wild. But not everybody goes there to play. So
yeah.
Sorry, now you got me down a rabbit hole.
It is definitely distracting. And hey, home field advantage. But only sort of, because if the team coming in happens to be a blue team, right. You could have a defender kind of disappear back there a little bit.
Agreed. Oh man.
Yeah, there you go. Black and gray. There it is.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
they make have a little fun this morning.
Thanks for tuning in. So yeah, no, it's there's some pretty cool fields out there. But yeah, just to wrap up the UFL, I don't really know what they're doing. Like I feel like they are actively trying to destroy what they were building. They would have been better off to have not merged the two leagues at this point. Yeah.
Yeah. And it just is the point, like you said, having The Rock at the head of this and being so bad at everything else. It's kind of shades of what he did in WWE. It's like come in there, hype up Cena, and then not show up at WrestleMania. And everybody's like, okay, are you showing up at UFL either? No. So what are you doing these days? Because we're not really seeing you do anything for these ventures that you're getting into. So,
well, it's one thing that you can kind of say, it's true across his career. He is really great at self-promotion. He doesn't seem to be all that great about promoting whatever product. Even when you think of when he showed up at the Super Bowl, right? When the Bengals were in it, and he came out looking like a plum, right? In the full purple outfit. Not really sure what was going on. He popped out as Kool-Aid Man. Like, I don't really know what we're doing.
Right. He's auditioning.
But when you heard him, you're just like, okay, like, are you hyping up? What are you doing? Why are you here?
Right.
Even Burrow got caught on the mic and was like, is that The Rock? What's he like? I like his shoes. Right? Anything you're saying is not landing if people are like, oh yeah, you look, like a grape, but I like your shoes. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm with you. What's up, Jeff?
What's happening? Man.
Thank you, sir.
So sticking with football, because camp finally opened for all the teams yesterday. And
not all the players, but all the teams.
What's that?
I said not all the players, but all the teams.
All the teams. Yeah, no, I had to say it that way because not all the players have arrived. And, one of those was Scary Terry. McLaurin is not in Washington. He wants a contract. And you have to imagine that they have to figure this out, right?
Yes.
Like, there's nobody on the market that's going to take over what McLaurin has added to that.
Right.
yeah, they're probably worried about his age a little bit, but he is the target. Yeah. So I know Amari Cooper's still floating out there, but Cooper isn't McLaurin. I guess it's not the same dude. So interesting that they're dragging their feet on that one. Seems like they would, maybe even if it was a shorter contract, it seems like they'd pay him, right?
Right.
The other one is Micah Parsons, but we got some sound bites for that one.
Well, real quick from McLaurin, then I don't get that one because you've kind of shown more that you're going like a little more all in now with how your quarterback has kind of risen with McDaniels, the way Daniels has risen. Yep. So get this done. Give it. McLaurin has had great numbers over the years with terrible quarterback play. You give finally a good quarterback, pay the man. Just get it done. Okay.
No, get him
if you
out
think
of there.
that you're gonna, I mean, if you think that Debo's going to take over and you're going to let McLaurin go, like you're taking a significant step back in my mind. You're not getting that same, just swapping those two out. Like you need both of them out there. And I figured that was the whole point of getting a guy like Debo is to complement a guy like McLaurin. So just get it done.
And when has Debo stayed healthy?
Right.
Right. So if he's your number one, what is your answer when he goes down? Because it's not an if, it's a when, right? Like basically for Debo, you're going to get 12 games and you don't get to pick which 12.
Right.
So, I mean, if he gets hurt early, maybe you get to go on a run with him. Or he gets hurt mid to late season and, I guess pack up your toys and go home because it's a wrap if you don't have another guy. And, with McLaurin there, Debo gets to be your number two, which is really where you want it, right? He's not taking the bulk of the catches and hits and whatever, and he's such a dynamic player, you can line him up wherever. Right. So as a number two, Debo's awesome. And your offense can still function, if and when he gets hurt. Right. So I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me, especially with all the smart moves Washington has made over the last two seasons. This one, you're just like, why? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah. And then we've had some good conversations. How about we have some good money and let's just get him in here? Because the longer he's not in training camp, the worse to me, especially when you're trying to make other additions and you want everybody to come out sharp. So
exactly.
But what do I know? I'm just sitting over here talking about the Stallions being gone. So hey.
Yes. That's right. They get the big bucks to make bad decisions where we just drink coffee on Wednesday morning.
Yes, sir.
And if you're a coffee company, you should sponsor this show because we would name drop you nonstop.
Yes. Yes.
Especially for me, because I'm going off of 4 hours of sleep. So the coffee is going to be a thing.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm in Central Time Zone, but you're in Pacific. So like for me, it's 8:20. For you, it's like, I don't know, 4:40 a.m. I don't know how the time zones work, but that's my bad.
Not like that, but it is still early though. It is 20 after 6 here. Priceless. All right, let's talk about this Jerry Jones action because it's funny and why not? So first, we're going to start with Jerry Jones, and this was a press conference. He's asked about Micah Parsons not being signed yet. And this is his response, which probably doesn't inspire a lot of confidence if you are Micah Parsons' team.
Just because we sign him doesn't mean we're going to have him. He was hurt 6 games last year. Seriously. We've signed, I remember signing a player for the highest paid at the position in the league, and he got knocked out 2/3 of the year, Dak Prescott. So there's a lot of things you can think about when you, just as the player does, when you're thinking about committing and guaranteeing money.
So if you are Parsons' agent, you can't love this.
And he played in he missed 4, not 6, I think is what they said also. But I'm listening. Go this
Oh no, I mean that's just Jerry Jones being Jerry Jones though. Like he goes out of his way to like paint his own things.
Yes.
It's a bizarre stance to take when you are still negotiating.
Yeah.
Because if you're on Parsons' side, right? Like say you're his agent or somebody close to that situation, any discount you might have thought about is now gone.
Oh yeah.
It's like, oh, you're just out there in press conferences dumping on me. Cool. Yeah, this is going to cost you a lot.
Yes. Like you realized I could see the press conference, right? Like, oh, you didn't know that. Okay. Got it.
Yeah, you realize this is on TV, yeah? Okay. Yeah, I mean, yes. It is definitely the that action. The thing that's funny is it just costs them a lot of money.
Yes.
Right? Like that's the thing, is it's not like he's out there swinging and it's helping his cause, right? And it's not like it ever has. You've watched this same thing happen over and over. I don't know why he thinks that, waiting for these guys to have other players that are comparable get paid, because the league is now whatever the last guy got, I want more.
Oh, yeah.
And you have guys like TJ and Garrett and, signing their deals for record numbers. What do you think that's going to do to your guy?
Yeah.
Well, it's going to go up. Like it's an idiotic way to go. But it's been the Cowboy way for, years now.
Forever. Yeah.
So this was Parsons' response. Oh no, just got a gray screen of death. That's cool. That's always helpful when you're live.
Live happens live.
It sure does.
There's not really much movement, man. I want to be here. I've always stated I want to be here, but at the end of the day, they sign the checks like always, and let's see if they want me to be here at the end of the day. So I've been pretty consistent. If they don't want me here, they don't want me here. I go about my business. I understand the nature of the business. Like I said, as long as I'm here and under contract, I'm going to do what I have to do to perform at the highest level. But if this is the end, this is the end. There's not really much movement, man.
So based on that, though, I mean, you at least know he's not going to hold out. And he was at camp. So this question was posed to him, at the first day of training camp for the veterans, right? Obviously, the rookies reported last week. But every team, some of them started, Monday and Friday, but everybody started yesterday. So he's there at camp. He's doing what he's supposed to do. He's going through the drills, obviously meeting with the media. And, he's just like, hey, if they don't want me, they don't want me. That's fine. If they let him walk, I mean, you keep hearing Jerry say we're all in and those types of things. And then at the same time, talking out of the other side of his mouth, sabotaging his own team. I don't know how you're going to win a lot of games if you aren't signing your best players.
Right. Especially on defense, where it seems like you clearly need them. You've invested in the offense, but you see how that's working out for the Bengals. Sign your best player on defense. I don't get that one at all. And then something else you said a little earlier, with this being the Cowboy way. Okay, didn't work with Dak Prescott. We had to pay him a record number. Didn't work with CeeDee Lamb. Had to pay him a record number. So are they just sitting there going, you know what, man? Third time's a charm. Because all three of these guys were talked about at the exact same time as, hey, here are their next big contracts. So had you done any of them early, maybe you're not in this. But waiting on all three when this isn't us looking back and going, oh, they should have done it. We said it at the time. You guys need to get this done. So, but also shout out to Dak Prescott for just taking a random stray for no reason. Jerry Jones is like, if I'm going to make Parsons mad, I might as well, kind of alienate Dak at the same time. Like, why not? Right?
I'm going to dunk on my whole team. Let's just go. Yeah. No, it's not like this is a new trend either. I mean, they did the same thing with Zeke. Signing him to a huge deal. Now, obviously, he didn't come through and fulfill his end of it after he signed it. Like, he fell way off. But at the same time, they could have signed Zeke earlier and saved some money, but they waited and then gave him a huge contract. So, I mean, this definitely isn't something new for the Cowboys. Cowboys have been, stumbling over this for, a decade plus. I don't know. It's just, it's a weird way to go to not only drag these guys out, but then also kind of talk down to them in the media. And I know Jerry just can't get out of his own way, but man, talk about a bad look.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we talked a little bit about the one where Steven actually had to jump in and take the mic from him. Do you ever think he's just sitting at home? Like, do they have nightly dinners? He's like, Dad, just please, I'm begging you. Go to a beach somewhere. Go to an island. We've got the beach house. Just go there for the season and watch all the games and let me handle the rest of this, because it is just Jerry's got to realize it's not all about him, and his team hasn't won in over 30 years, got to the Super Bowl. And stop thinking it's just all the players' fault every single time. You're the one tangible thing through this whole thing. One constant, through the whole thing. Mm-hmm. It's you, man. It is you. You do this, and you end up having to play 3 players record deals, and now the fringes of your team fall apart because there's no money for some of this other stuff. And now your team's not as good. Like, it's just not, some of this is not that hard to figure out. So
yeah, well, and like I've said a bunch of times, like, he should still be involved in the draft. He's been money at that.
Great in the draft, yeah.
But yeah, then he should, join Jeff Bezos and jump on a rocket and float around the planet, because he really needs to leave his team alone. And let's be honest, if we heard a story about Stephen Jones being put into rehab for drinking problem, you'd be like, yeah, no, that tracks. Like, right. You have Jerry Jones just like destroying the thing you're trying to manage, and it's just like, oh yeah, let me just get to the bottom of this bottle over here.
I mean, knowing that you're one of the names in charge and having no control whatsoever, it's like me on the show. I'm like trying to do stuff, and you're just over there like lighting the microphone on fire, and I'm just like, hey, Bo. Okay, never mind. I guess the show does. You're like coming in shirtless, just swinging around, like, what's up, Herb? And I'm just like, oh my God. Welcome to the Wednesday wrap up.
All things being equal, that might get some ratings. Who knew?
But see, that's the Jerry Jones style. You know what? If we're not going to win, let's at least be in the public eye. And that is the Jerry Jones style. So, and yeah, that was the Bengals that Shamar Stewart's holding out on. Back in Texas A&M right now.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Yeah, I was going to say it's definitely not the Raiders, it's the Bengals, and it's interesting because what I was reading is they didn't want to guarantee, they didn't want to have the injury guarantee, and I thought it was interesting. The verbiage of the contract was if you get hurt in training camp, there's basically no guarantee.
Right.
So I would have been fighting that also, because, I mean, guys get hurt in training camp all the time.
Yeah. And
you're talking about a high draft pick. This isn't like a 7th rounder or an undrafted free agent or something like that. I mean, you're talking about a high draft pick.
Yep.
You've paid 3 guys on the offense. That I think the cap hit for those 3 dudes is like $130+ million this year.
Yep.
You can't figure out how to sign a $10 million rookie deal is wild to me.
Yep. And then I'll make this quick because I know we got to transition here in a second. Yep. But the owner coming out and saying, because there's more to that too, because he's saying, I don't want to pay this guy if he's off in jail, which, by the way, I don't know why your owner felt like he had to step in, but that's basically it. If he's not there or something, they'd still have to pay him. So that's why they're putting verbiage in. It just sounds really, really stupid. And again, your owner jumping in just to alienate somebody. Good job. So
yeah, what is it with the owners? It's weird. I just don't understand what they're trying to accomplish. Like, you're trying to get guys to come to the table and sign contracts, and you're hitting the media to call them out in weird ways where you're just like, oh, okay, yeah, no, that's just terrible.
Yeah.
That being said, that does get us to the halfway point. If you are listening to ICU Radio 97.3, this is where we get you back to your regular programming, smooth jazz coming your way. And of course, if you are everywhere else, you can catch the second half of the show. If you're on ICU Radio, you can switch over to YouTube at Football Talk, and of course, Roku And so there you go. All right. That being said, sticking with the NFL, we do have a couple of retirements that I didn't realize weren't retired yet. Philip Rivers, I thought he announced his retirement when he left the last time, but it does sound like he signed a one-day deal to retire as a Charger, which makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah.
The second retirement is one I really didn't know wasn't retired yet, and that was Jimmy Graham. Announces his retirement.
Oh, yeah.
That was my response. I was like, oh, okay.
When did he last play? Or was that was Graham the one that made the comeback for a couple of years here just a minute ago?
No, Graham last played in Green Bay, I thought. So he, obviously he leaves the Saints. He comes here to Seattle. We don't know how to use a tight end for receiving, and tried to make Jimmy Graham block, which he is horrendous at. And then we move on from him. He goes to, I believe it was Green Bay. And I think that was it. I mean, if he had another stop, he didn't do anything because I don't remember hearing his name anywhere.
Yeah, it was 2023 with the Saints.
I was going to say, I take that back. He did go to the Saints for 1 year, I think. That's
what I was thinking of. I don't remember him doing anything there, but I remember him I remember the name and thinking, really?
Yeah.
But he spent a year out, and then he spent a year in New Orleans, which might as well be a year out of football. And now he's retired. He said, I'm coming back to football. I'm signing in purgatory. Okay, good luck to you.
Yeah, so those were two retirements that I just didn't realize were still technically in the league.
Yeah, no. It's funny. You got to sign the paperwork, and now we announce it. We're like, dude, you've been retired for a while. That's cool.
Yeah. Well, and I wonder if some of these guys delay their official retirement to keep those health benefits, right? Because you keep those health benefits for 5 years after your retirement, right? So I wonder if that's just like holding on a couple of years, and you're just like, oh yeah, I'm technically, still training, trying to catch on a team, keep those benefits going along. There are quite a few, Honey Badger. Exactly. And yeah, you're right. Jimmy Graham's doing stuff for reality TV shows. And that's why I kind of thought he was already retired.
He was done. Right. Right. That thought about the health benefits is hilarious because I just want a shot of Philip Rivers on a couch, doing one of those little bike machines with his feet going, yeah, I'm still training, sending health benefits. Got a bag of chips right here. And he's like, yeah, no, I could play tomorrow, but I guess if you got 20 kids, you need all the health benefits you can
That's
get.
What I'm thinking, right? Like he has all the kids. Like he has a volleyball team that can play his other volleyball team. So, yeah, no, but at the same time, he coaches high school football, right? So, I mean, He's still throwing the football. I mean, that's how he came back the last time, right? He left coaching to come back and play for the Colts for a year. So, 17 kids. Yeah.
I mean, that's wild. That's wild. I would keep retirement postponed also just for the thought of telling my wife, look, I'm tired. I'm out. I'm going to a training camp. I'm done. I'm out the door. I pull a Tom Brady, I guess. Oh man, this family's killing me. I'm headed back to football.
I mean, it might be the other way around. It's his wife saying, you know what? You should go back to work. Yes. Whatever gets you outside of this house is what you should go do.
That's probably just as likely, I bet.
Man. All right. So, got to talk a little WNBA. All-Star break happens, and the league tries out a 4-point shot during the game. And, I got a chance to chat with Gabby Williams yesterday at the Storm game, and that question was asked. So And then we also asked her how it was playing against her teammates because she got picked for the Caitlin Clark team. And then all of her current and ex-teammates were on the other side. So a bunch of her UConn teammates and her Storm teammates were all on the other team. So we'll listen to those two questions.
You were playing against your teammates. What was that dynamic like?
It was pretty fun, actually. It was different, I guess. I don't know, but it was funny just to like kind of joke around with them. I think it was actually more fun to like play against them and mess with them than it was actually playing with them. Like if you're on the same team with like on the same All-Star team. So it was just like a different dynamic.
Perfect. Thank you.
They incorporated some rules changes for the game. Are there any of those that you would like to see make their way into the regular season, or was it fun for All-Star but no thanks?
No, I think it's just fun for All-Star. As fun as the 4-point shot was, I think it would just ruin the game, honestly.
Thank you.
I tend to agree with that. I don't think a 4-point shot should be implemented in basketball.
No, not at all. There's one specific use for it. Hey, we're down 4 at the end of a game. And instead of like, hey, do we have to have a quick 2 or, a 3 and try and foul, whatever. That's it. Other than that, no, I'm not. We're already 2 3-point happy in a lot of these games.
Exactly.
I think that would just make it worse. Guys who have no business shooting, dribbling over to that spot to do it. Like, no, I'm good on that. So fun gimmick for an All-Star game, but yeah, not for regular.
And that's the way I look at it. Especially for an All-Star game when you figure 0 defense is going to get played, right?
Right.
So, yeah, it's just so the thing that's funny is that you say this. There's actually quite a few that can dunk. They just don't. Yeah. And I haven't quite figured out why not, other than if they do that dunk and it goes off the heel of the basket and launches to mid-court, they'll get barbecued in a way that the men don't. And the men do it all the time. I mean, you've seen you saw Jordan do it, where he'd come in and, he just didn't quite get it in, hits the heel of the rim. And I mean, he's coming in hard enough that it bounces to mid-court. It happens. It's part of basketball. But I think that in the women's side, if somebody watched that'd become this just crazy viral meme immediately. And so I think some of that might actually play into the fact that they don't do it during a game, because if you go to the shoot-arounds before, you see some of these ladies dunk in pregame warmups.
Yeah. I also think, though, a lot of them need that running start, though. And you've got way more guys who can jump, get in the lane and jump, from 2 feet all of a sudden versus several of the ladies will need kind of more of a little running start to get it going. So I don't think you have that. And then as physical as the game is, one little bump off half the time is getting you off of that. You know what I mean? Like you can't – we've talked about that. The women they're hitting each other a little bit more than the guys and getting away with it. One of their points of contention for the year. So – and when you're doing that running start and you're headed towards the basket and get that little bump, it might not throw off your layup entirely, but it is going to throw off your footing to where, okay, I'm not getting up there and dunking. So –
oh, yeah. Yeah. No, it's no, and the thing is that part's not actually true. Yesterday, one of the Storm, their rookie, mashed one down pregame. Mm-hmm. But when you watch her during the games, she doesn't play like that. Even in transition, she'll do the layup rather than mash the thing home. Right. So, yeah, again, I don't know what it is. There's just a tentative nature to that aspect of the game. Yeah. That being said, if you did drop it down to 9 feet, I suppose some of the shorter players would then be able to. And I think some of them probably would.
Oh, right? Yeah. You always see the young guys going. The shorter guys always go for it. The taller guys almost like they get bored with it. Like, all right, but if you're short, like Spud Webb and winning a dunk contest is like, I'm showing off, buddy. I can do this. So
exactly.
Yeah. J-Big, I don't think you're 100% wrong, because I've always said what I would do on every team is get at least one person who could dunk for every team and I would get them a prominent role somehow. So I don't think you're 100% wrong. We're just saying like it just doesn't happen, because there are more people out there. But
and that's the thing is most of the teams have at least one that can.
Mm-hmm.
The Storm have two. They got two bigs that are capable of dunking.
Which I would have never known, to your point about it, I would have never known. So
yeah, because I mean, their rookie out of France, I think she is 6'4". I have to double check because I can't remember.
Yeah, David, we've also kind of argued on here a lot of the way they market their players and stuff has not been good either. Because Caitlin Clark can't dunk, and she's their most popular player right now. But she's also built up a following through college. A lot of these ladies that are in there right now that are your stars didn't have that NIL era.
I stand corrected. Dom is 6'6".
Yeah. Okay.
So, I mean, she can do it. And then where's Ezzy? Oh, yeah. So Ezzy's 6'4". Both of them are capable of dunking.
Yeah. I'll say this: if you lowered it to 9, the women would be so insulted.
Oh, no question. Yeah, you couldn't do it. You couldn't do it.
Yeah, but the thought of getting more dunks in the game, I think, is a good point. Anything to add a little bit more excitement would be good. Yeah,
well, and there's plenty of opportunity for it because, like in the Storm game last night, I want to say that. I want to say the Wings ended up with like 20 transition points. So, I mean, that's fast breaks, right? I mean, so any one of those could have been a dunk. Right. I mean, fast breaks are, always that opportunity. Now, they don't really have – they have one big, true big. But I don't think she can dunk. But yeah, I mean, most teams have – one or two players that would be capable. So it is interesting that they don't, because if you wanted to hear the stadiums just electrify immediately, have one of these ladies just mash one home.
Oh, definitely. I think, what's her name? Candace Parker. I think the first time she dunked in one, it made Sports Center's highlights and all this kind of stuff. And they lost that game by 20. But it was still out there. Exactly. So no, it's absolutely a good point. If they did that, there would be a little more extra excitement, more reason to watch. So I don't know. But knowing the WNBA now, they would bury that, and you would never see the highlight, just because that's how they're marketing these days.
Yeah, right. We did something cool. Scrap that.
Let no one see this. Okay.
So the other thing that came out of the All-Star break was them wearing the shirts that said, pay us what we're worth, right? And people have been losing their minds, which is hilarious because they obviously have done zero homework at all, right? The main argument for it is they're like, look, this league lost $40 million this last year. And so they're lucky they're making any money. First off, if you're making a movie and you hire the actors and then your movie sucks, you still have to pay them, right?
Right.
So it's not like you're like, oh, well, this movie sucked, so sorry about your luck. Like that's how that works. It just like if you were working for a company that, wasn't doing great, right? Are you still going to ask for a raise? Yeah, right. I mean, you're doing your job. Just because their marketing and front office and stuff doesn't mean you're not going to ask for more money. And then probably the biggest piece that I don't know how they just don't know is going on is the league is signing a new TV deal worth $2.2 billion. So you're talking about a league that lost $40 million last year. Concede that point. That was a real thing. They're going to lose money this year too. But you're looking at a contract that's going to give them $200 million a year. Mm-hmm. You can't give them a wage that could maybe let them live on their own. Now, maybe the 70 grand or 80 grand works in some cities. You know where it doesn't work? Here in Seattle. If you're making 70 grand a year here in Seattle, you have roommates.
I mean, I would also say like any of the California teams, the New York team, like
no, that's what I'm saying.
There's a lot of, hey, Caitlin Clark with 70 grand, probably do a great in Indiana, but
well, I think it's her $10 million endorsement deal that's probably making her.
I wasn't going to mention that. I was just going to make the point. Just I'm sure that other little pocket change helps, but but yeah, no, I think you're exactly right. That's why they're playing overseas. That's why several players in the league are leaving to go do other stuff in the middle of the season. Like,
yes,
this is a thing that is happening. So, I was trying to do a little more deep dive on this. I've forgotten about the TV deal because that is always the talking point. Oh, you lost $50 million this year. They should pay them less. Well, yeah, I mean, the league has still been around forever. This is probably the best time to take advantage of any kind of popularity, the Caitlin Clark effect and kind of spreading down. Paige Buchers, I think, is going to be a great star for them also, and it's finally starting to shed some light on some of the previous stars. You're seeing more commercials with them. You're seeing more shoe deals, I'm telling you, if the league would just take a little bump in the right direction, this could be great. It's just, I honestly feel like they're just sitting back and going, hey, just put Caitlin on TV. We'll be fine.
The biggest part of this TV deal is what the TV deal is. And, we've talked about it here before. I've talked about it in a bunch of places, is they've made the game so hard to consume, right? Like it's on either obscure networks or it's on streaming, or not even all of them are televised. And so, I mean, it's for you to be able to watch the games, they've given you hurdles to go find it. Right. Yeah. This TV deal, Amazon Prime, CBS. It's like, oh, okay. So we're talking about like networks now, right? Instead of, you got to find it on Ion or the CW, or it's streaming on, just random networks that, you're probably not subscribed to because there's nothing else on that channel you're going to watch. And there's not enough of the games that make you want to sign up for it anyway. So now you're going to have these games landing on the major networks consistently instead of, this one's randomly on CBS or NBC or whatever. Now it's like, okay, like a bunch of these are going to be there. So, for like our Storm games, if you're here in Seattle, it's on Prime, but if you're out of the market, it's not. And if, it was broadcast on the CW, okay, well, I mean, but that's not going to be everywhere. That's going to be regional, right? At best. And so, it's those types of things where it's just like, okay, if you want eyeballs to find your product, you need to not hide the product, right?
Yes. Yeah. And that's what I was looking at right there, just trying to see if I could, because there's 5 games last night. And, I've got YouTube TV. When I click it on, sports comes on first because that's what I always watch on there. It's funny, you watch mine, it's sports and reality TV where 2 women are yelling at each other. And you're like, all right, guess which one of us is watching which program.
Yeah, right.
But you're absolutely right, because some.
Uh-oh. Is that on my end or his?
I can still hear you, but I don't know. And I'm hardwired connected. So this is what bothers me.
You're probably making a good point.
Yeah. It is wild. And I'm on Spectrum and I'm hardwired and I still get this. You know what I mean? Like,
sense.
What else can I even do at this point? This is so frustrating.
I mean, I guess you just have to come over here. So
I don't get it. But I would just say it's tough when you turn it on and now you're like, okay, now I got to go to an app and figure out where all the games are and who I've got to go find and all this kind of stuff. It's maddening to do that. And it's like the WNBA has relaxed and said, we're just going to rely on our hardcore fans who are into the server. No, you don't need them. You need the casuals like me who are like, you know what? Don't feel like doing anything else. I'll flip on a game tonight. You need to make that as accessible as possible. I think each sport tries to cater so much to their diehards that they kind of forget, hey, the only way we grow is if we just pick off a couple of these people who are out there thinking, yeah, you know what, I'll watch another game, you know. Hey, I heard Tyrese Halliburton is guest, you know, talking about the Fever tonight. I was already going to watch for Caitlin Clark, but there's another, you know, just tie in more with the NBA, just bring more to it. But I feel like they just relax. Hey, we got Caitlin Clark. They're on TV. Hey, she's hurt. What?
Well, and it's funny because when you go, so during the game, right, I'll be making notes, but then I also have my tablet up looking at, you know, the box score and, you know, shot profiles and stuff like that. Like if you go to the WNBA site, it actually gives you quite a bit of information. Except they must only have one person doing it. And when there's multiple games going on, you'll find that those things don't get updated live. Like if there's the one game or two games, it'll be updated constantly. Mm-hmm. We went through the entire game, and I usually have their shot matrix up so I can see where the makes and the misses were in real time.
Right.
And then on my phone, I usually have like the actual box score so I can see percentages and all that. The entire game, it never got updated. The game was over. It still said 0-0. I'm like, I feel like I just sat here through a whole game, and and it didn't end in zeros. So. Yeah, it was just interesting that even on the WNBA side, they don't stay on top of it. I mean, you're talking about a $2.2 billion contract. I feel like you can't have an intern that's just like, you know, putting your stats in. I mean, I don't know, because I think the worst part about that is ESPN, their box score was working just fine.
Yeah.
You can't have another website outperforming your sport. Yes. Like that is not a great look.
Yeah. I'm telling you, they just relaxed. They've just decided to do nothing and hope it works out. So, and I feel like the ladies are kind of suffering for it because there's some great stars and some great stories out there that it just never gets out there. And they've just kind of made it into Caitlin Clark versus the world. And then they're like, oh, I wonder why she's hated. Because you're ignoring everyone else and not doing a single thing for any game that's not a Fever game. So
yeah. Well, so this is an interesting thing because on its face, you're not wrong. Right? The problem is not all of those watchers are going to pay for a streaming service.
Right. That was going to be my point.
And so you wouldn't really get that. I mean, even the NFL, the absolute juggernaut of ratings. When you look at the ratings for the games that have hit streaming services, they're a significant dip from ones that are on national TV.
Yep.
You know,
the Chiefs was one of those. So yeah,
exactly.
In a playoff game.
Yeah.
So yeah. I'll put it this way, Jay Bake. If you did that, right, you wouldn't have the juggernaut you'd have now because you're going to recruit and you're saying, hey, come play for this national brand. But guess what? All of our games won't be televised where you can see it. Go tell your parents. They also got to pay this to watch you play later. Because just think about all the CBS games, you know, once we hit conference play, knows all not being in that 2:30 spot anymore for the whole nation to see. Now it's only if I'm an Ohio State fan, I'm not paying for the SEC network. So now I've made it to where the only people watching me on TV are in this little bubble in the South. So now I'm telling the recruit, hey, come to the South where only other people in the South will watch you play. You know, you won't get that notoriety. And these kids now, they want to be seen by everybody. You know, you wouldn't have had the growth of the league. And it's like Bo said, not everybody's paying for that. You know, I know a lot of people who wouldn't.
And if you want a great example of it, you watched that exact scenario play out with the Pac-12.
Yep.
They had the Pac-12 network. You know what people didn't do is buy it.
Yeah.
And what happened to that whole conference? There were 2 teams in it last year because of TV contracts. So, you know, they couldn't figure out how to sign a deal with Apple TV. And that was their other network that was covering them. So yeah, I mean, unfortunately, the streaming, because there's so many streaming services, it's actually making people mad now, and they're just not paying for them. They're like, you know what? For the one game I'm going to watch, I'm just going to go to the bar and watch it there, because I only care about the one game anyway. So I'm not paying for their streaming service all year. So I mean, it's just kind of there's too many of them now. When it was just a few of them, people are like, okay, I'll have my cable package and I'll have these like additional things that let me do stuff, because there's nothing added to it. But now you're adding bills. So even though the dollar figure may not necessarily be different, it's, I have $10 here and $15 here and whatever. And all of a sudden you're just seeing all of these instead of just being one cable bill. Right. Where people are like, oh yeah, I'll add the NFL Network and I'll add, this sports package and whatever. And then they just never think about it again. Now you have these alerts every month of 15 different streaming services. Like, you know what? I just don't watch that one enough. And they start dumping them. So the fact
the
fact that everybody has a streaming service is just, it's killing the market.
Agreed. J-Bag, put it this way, because I'm like you, all sports is all I watch on there. But you're down here. Would you buy the Big Ten network? No, you wouldn't. No. You wouldn't care. So if you're an Ohio State guy, and you go to the Big Ten, you've lost the whole South because nobody's buying your network, nobody's seeing your game. So that's what I'm saying. I think you're kind of looking at it like, hey, everybody in the South would. But guess what? Like Vanderbilt's not buying the SEC network because they're like, we don't get that much on TV anyway. Mississippi State. So you're basically, your SEC package is going to come from like 4, 5, 6 major schools, and the rest of them people will just figure it out. So no, you need those ESPN and CBS games to continue to grow the league. So no, again, it was like, I get where you're coming from. The numbers look great. I just think you lose a lot of coverage. Nobody in California is buying the SEC network. That's all I'm saying about it. Yeah. So
even if they were going to play a fair amount of games in that conference for whatever reason, just on principle, they wouldn't. They're like, I'm not giving that conference any money.
Yeah. Now, see, I'd probably be more like you, $10 a week to each conference. Like, that'd probably be me. But then I might as well get cable because my wife likes, housewife shows. So we got to have it anyway.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because then you're thinking about, like the NFL. So then you got to have Prime. Most people do because they want their shipping anyway, right? But then you have to have Netflix because they're going to have another game on Netflix. And then you have to have Peacock because there's going to be 2 or 3 games on Peacock. And, they were going through, if you wanted to see all the games, it was going to cost you $1,500 to watch all the NFL games. NFL gets away with it because they've already built that brand out. There's not another sport out there that's going to be capable of doing that. And even, like we said a second ago, the ones that are on the streaming, significant viewer drop.
Right. No,
so, exactly. and I mean, even the Thursday night prime games are tough because, the people that don't have it can't watch it. And a lot of sports bars don't have a Prime account.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because why would they? There's not enough.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just kind of it's a weird scenario. You're basically alienating your viewers. And when you're in leagues that you're trying to grow, having those scenarios doesn't get you there because you're already hard to watch.
No, that might be me again. Who knows?
That was me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There's some intrigue to it, but if now you're making it hard to watch where you have to go stream it or whatever, it's just like, okay, yeah, you know what? Maybe I don't care. Right. So now you're keeping fans that might have gotten into it from even checking it out because they're like, oh, this game is on this random streaming service. And, similarly, our arena league, it was broadcast on Vice TV. You know how many of them watched? Yeah, I watched on
0?
Vice. 0. Yeah, 0 games because I didn't subscribe to Vice TV because why. So that being said, that does get us to the top of the hour. If you've been watching on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe. If you're watching everywhere else, stay tuned for whatever network you are on. Other than that, we are going to get out of here. We will see you all next week. Take it easy, everybody.